Okay, we're going to start with the nation. Petrol, diesel, others to flow from Dangote refinery come July. Supreme Court fixes Friday for judgment in PDP's suit against Tinubu and Shettima. Why Tribunal rejected motions on live telecast. Sirika, more heads to roll in aviation agencies. Tinubu will support Navy, says Buhari. Why judiciary must resist technical judgments. And President signs Social Investment Agency bill. Okay, which story are we starting with?
I could start with the human trafficking. So the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, has said it is strengthening its investigative capacities or capabilities to tackle rising cases of online sexual exploitation. It also set up a cybersecurity response team responsible for handling all cases of online sexual exploitation and material assault. Now, the Director General, Professor Fatima Waziri Azi, spoke at a 5-day training of investigators and prosecutors in Kefi, Nasarawa State. And that was organized by the Attorney General Alliance Africa, AGA Africa, in collaboration with NAPTIP to strengthen the agency's anti-human trafficking efforts. So he said that they conducted a gap analysis and identified the need to strengthen their investigation and prosecution departments. She says, we are hoping to secure more convictions, which will also translate into sending a strong message across the country. When you have strengthened the investigation departments, when you have a strengthened prosecution department, that is the only output that you get. Then, in addition to the prosecutorial targets, we also do a lot of awareness creation, and awareness creation focuses on rural areas and urban communities. So since last year, they've been establishing trafficking of persons and violence against persons vanguard in secondary schools. So they, according to the agency, they said they've been able to do that in 84 of the 110 unity schools, where they go and give some of these talks. And this is a good one. They are also working with other African countries to ensure that we do not have trafficking in persons. Now, I think we talked about, they highlighted Edo State specifically. There were some areas that they found that they were huge in that act. So we talked about how we can help these people, because some of them are tricked into doing this. They tell you we are going to get you work outside the country, and then you travel and you're being trafficked.
Okay, you have a story. I'm going to take our president. In this last 1 week, he's just commissioning left, right, and center. He was in Dangote, but now let me come to, he was actually, you want to take Dangote first?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Let me let you.
That's like the hottest story. That's what everybody in my industry is using to market real estate now.
Wow.
So the president, and let me list the roll call. It was a presidential event. The president, our president, Muhammadu Buhari, the president of Togo, Fore Gasingbe, the president of Ghana, Nana Akufo-Addo, the president of Senegal, President Macky Sall, the president of Niger Republic, President Mohamed Bazoum, the president of Chad, President Mahamat Deby, the vice president of Nigeria, vice president-elect and Senate president, that's Kashim Shettima, as well as Ahmed Lawan, with the governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, Dapo Abiodun, Olusegun Osun. It was a massive roll call of people who went to open the biggest refinery.
You know how people say, it can never open. Is it not Dangote?
The biggest single train refinery in the world. And they were expecting the first batch of products to roll out before the end of July, according to what Alhaji Aliko Dangote said. He said that this was a contribution to Nigeria's efforts to strengthen our investment. This investment in industry is supposed to help Nigeria to, as well as help Africa.
Right.
And it will reduce it would increase foreign inflow into Nigeria and also reduce our dependency on imported fuel. So we're looking forward to experiencing that.
Wish him all the best.
Okay.
Business is not easy.
So other legacy projects our president will be commissioning today is the 21-year-old Second Niger Bridge. Wow. Will be commissioned today, and 6 other legacy projects. There's going to be, I think, it's the Abuja-Kano Expressway, the local Oweto Bridge. There's some in Guzau, some in Bayelsa. There's so many other areas that it will be
the final few days of
commissioning. You know, you must show that when I do this thing before I leave. Anyway, so yesterday there was the special advisor to the president media was giving us a heads up on all the various commissioning that will be done commissioned 7 legacy projects completed by the federal government. Federal Ministry of Works and Housing, so Minister Fashola is also going to be there. 3 major bridges, 3 federal secretariats, and a road. And also the Customs Service Office, 19.6 billion Naira corporate headquarters would also be commissioned today. So Buhari is very, very busy.
Yes,
can't call him right
last
now.
Few days before we go and rest in Daura.
So that history will be good to him that, he commissioned, he started these projects before he left. Okay, let's move on to the Punch. Dangote refinery, we talked about that earlier. Operators fault removal of NAMA managing director. My admin boosted Navy's capacity with 20 ships, says Buhari. Governors-elect protest as outgoing governors shun transition panels. Tribunal reject live broadcast. Supreme Court decides anti-Buhari suit on Friday. Okay, which story are we starting with?
So we remember the viral video that went around when a widow was banished in Ogbaru local government. We talked about it. It was a full topic on the show. Yes. So there's good news. A suspect who allegedly banished the widow from the Umunanko community in Ogbaru local government area of Anambra State have been arrested and arraigned before the Children's Sexual and Gender-Based Violence Magistrates Court in Awka, the state capital. The suspects and defendants identified as Lazarus Ozo, Anozie Uzo, Valentine Ukusa, a brother to the widow. And they said they all hailed from Umunanko. They had used the masquerade to force the widow, Neka Uzo, out of the community some few weeks ago. So they were arraigned on 5 counts on Monday. Their arrest was facilitated by the State Commissioner for Women and Social Welfare, Ifi Obinabo, in collaboration with the State Police Command last week. When the charges were read and interpreted to the defendants, they pleaded not guilty to all of the charges. But the Chief Magistrate, Genevieve Osakwe, granted them bail in the sum of 700,000 Naira. Now, the 53-year-old widow, who's a caterer and a mother of 2, was banished from the community. According to her story, she said she had left her husband's house and moved to her mother's house 9 years ago after she lost her husband. But a neighbor of theirs died and they called her to come for the burial. So she had packed her things. You know, when you do burial, a lot of people sleep around. She was sleeping in the compound when they woke her up about 5:30 a.m. to say that you are a witch, you are the one that killed this person. And so they drove her out of the community, hurled insults at her and all that. But the commissioner is saying that they will make sure that she gets justice and they're going to fight for every widow who has experienced such in the community.
So my dear Governor Matawale is in the news yet again. This time around, the incoming governor of his state is saying that he has abandoned the state and has refused to to be part of the transition process. According to the publicity secretary of the PDP, they were saying that because he had lost his re-election bid, he has totally, completely abandoned the state. But Matawale responded and said that no, he has been attending very, very important functions, and that's why the incoming administration of Dauda Lauba was really, really adamant that they need him to stay in Zamfara to help with the transition process so that they can know especially the financial records of the state. But Governor Matawale is not available for that for now, according to this report. Same thing happening in Benue State. The incoming governor-elect, that's Reverend Father Hyacinth Alia, also is complaining that even the lodge where he's supposed to stay as a governor-elect wasn't renovated for him, that there's a strain between himself and the current governor of the state. So that's the issue we're having, because the governors-elect are having serious problems in having transition for the state. But let me go on a quick break. When we come back, I'll take your own story in Punch. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. We're still reviewing Punch. You have a story in Punch?
Yes. So the federal government has removed the acting managing director of the Nigerian Airspace Management Agency, Mr. Matthew Plateau, as part of last-minute shakeup within the aviation sector. And operators are faulting the removal of this, the NAMA managing director. There's been a series of shakeup within the aviation industry. The minister has reportedly also appointed the director of airspace and aerodrome at the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, Mr. Tayyib Odunwo, as his replacement. Punch couldn't verify that yet, but there was also another person who had his tenure expired last weekend. That's the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria's Captain Rabiu Yadudu, and he's also been replaced by Mr. Kabir Mohammed as the new managing director of FAN. So there are a group of people that call themselves the ARTS, which stands for Aviation Roundtable, and they have condemned the last-minute activities of the Minister of Aviation, said it's unwarranted, that for most of his administration, he didn't appoint or create a proper governing structure within the aviation industry, that he placed most of the activities under his personal control, and that they didn't function like agencies and parastatals. They were just, the entire aviation industry was functioning like agencies and parastatals under him. The same Aviation Roundtable group also mentioned that he micromanaged all the activities of the aviation industry, and it could easily, they feel like the Minister of Aviation as a role should be collapsed under Ministry of Transport like it was before, and that as internationally recognized, the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority should be given a proper structure as a regulatory agency according to the global best practices. I also felt a bit worried that there's a bit of shake-up at such last minute, because we always expect that while one administration is going out, everything should remain stable during the transition period before a new person takes over and they can properly appoint who will be able to work with the new minister. But with this shake-up, we wonder, I hope there won't be another shake-up when
the administration comes up.
Okay, Vanguard, very quickly, $21 billion revenue, 100,000 jobs coming from our refinery. Again, armed herders kill 18 behead women and children in Benue. Presidential poll, why tribunal rejected live coverage? Northeast, FG seeks funding for over 4 million malnourished people. Buhari to commission second Niger bridge. Plateau killings, death toll hits 130 as Khan warns against reprisal. And Naira redesign, massive cash hoarding resumes. Why is nothing being done in Plateau?
It's a lot.
Our heart is still going out to the people that have been murdered in Plateau State, and yet we have another story about what's happening in Benue State. In Benue, 18 persons were killed, some beheaded. They said they've recovered 7 corpses. The attack was said to have been carried out by headsmen within the EA community of Overing Council ward of Guma local government area of Benue State. They were beheaded and some were burnt. The native of the community said, who has lost his brother, wanted to remain anonymous, spoke about the fact that the headsmen, he qualified the headsmen, attacked the community around 6 p.m. on Sunday, said they killed over 18 people, including his brother. They injured several and burnt down many houses. And this vicious attack is unfortunate because they are largely farming community, and the information was confirmed by the Security Secretary of the Guma Council, Mr. Christopher Waku, confirmed that 18 people were actually killed within that area. The police commissioner for Benue State was also confirmed the attack, but according to the police, they've been able to recover 7 corpses from the scene, and they are working with volunteer guards to repel other attacks within the community. It is really, really worrisome.
Still on the kidnap story, men of the Benue State Police Command rescued 10 kidnapped victims, including a medical doctor, Etito Obadia. Etito Obadia works with Federal Medical Center Makurdi and was rescued on Monday by the policemen. So the State's Commissioner Police, Okoro Julius, said this on Monday while he was parading some suspects arrested in connection with the abduction of the medical doctor and 9 others allegedly found in the kidnappers' den. The paraded suspected cult members arrested in connection with the killing of a 29-year-old Babatunde Moses. So Okoro said that the police team, Operation Zenda JTF, trailed the kidnappers to their hideout at Gaya Village, Otange Council Ward in Katsina, Ala local government area of Benue State. On inciting the police, they engaged them in a gun duel, and that claimed the life of one of the kidnappers. 3 suspects were arrested. Others escaped into the bush with bullet wounds. And the doctor that was rescued, gave his own story, saying that he was kidnapped on his way to Taraba with his driver. And he was shocked because when he got to that area, he didn't believe that police could find their way there. But he was shocked that he was rescued by the police. And he was full of praises for the Nigerian police, saying that they came in, they were so fearless, attacked the kidnappers and rescued them, that if Nigerian police, if they want to work, they actually do work well. And,
I'm happy to.
Yeah, I'm happy that, yes.
Okay, so I was going to take the story of the Naira redesign. So Vanguard did a report that looks like currency hoarding has actually started again. According to them, the currency outside banks has risen to 43%. So if you recall, back in December 2022, it came down because of the mop-up that the CBN governor was trying to do. It came down about 1.4 trillion naira. As of today, it has gone up to approximately 2.1 trillion naira of cash outside the banks. Also, even currency in circulation has gone up to 42%. So people are hoarding cash.
Won't I hoard?
So
that bank will not lock up and...
So there's no money.
It's now counterproductive. So what he did, the objective to mop up cash is totally...
doesn't make sense.
Has been reversed based on what's since the relaxation of the policy. Okay, very quickly, our last paper is the Nigerian Tribune. Let's find a story we've not taken. 22 killed in Benue Plateau. We've taken that story. El Rufai deposits 2 Kaduna traditional chiefs. 10th National Assembly speakership. Over 150 opposition reps elect. Meet, defer to governors and party leaders. Refinery's first product to hit market end of July, says Dangote. Newly inaugurated assembly plans to produce 500 train wagons, now says Buhari. And Supreme Court to deliver judgment in PDP's suit against Tinubu and Shettima.
Sorry, I have to take a sad story. This also happened in Plateau State. Said 4 young men were sitting in front of their corridor when these people came and opened fire on them. They suspected they were security men, but they were just young boys who were in front of their house. Opened fire on them and killed all of them. So the Christian Association of Nigeria is speaking up against it, saying that this has got to stop. It's becoming one too many. And they said that according to the reports, they have about 130 people killed and about 1,000 buildings burnt, with about 22 villages affected. Something really has to be done about this.
It's really
I want to satellite drones, seeing this time coming in, going out. I mean,
in those villages?
Yeah, I don't think that might work, but I think that we need to have more security presence because the attacks are happening back to back. I want to take the story, good news, seemingly, from Ambrose Ali University of Ekpoma, Edo State. The school has dismissed 13 of its academic and non-academic staff for different offenses ranging from age falsification, financial fraud, gross misconduct, extortion, and sexual harassment. They said out of 209 disciplinary cases that was received by the internal disciplinary structure within the school, they were able to conclude 132 cases, representing 63%, while about 37% cases are still pending. Some lecturers that were accused of making sexual advances on students, a girl within the school, has been sacked. They also sacked another professor who was found guilty of extorting money from students. I think that this is the right, when justice like this is served within the system, it helps to purify the system and also cautions other people from doing the same. So I'd like to applaud the management of the University of Ambrose Ali in Ekpoma for doing this.
Going back to our president's commissioning, he has commissioned the very first ever wagon assembly plant in West Africa. According to him, the president said that the wagon assembly plant is set to produce 500 wagons per year of open wagon container for flat wagons and box wagons. That's for trains. He was represented by the Minister of Transportation, Muazu Sambo. Said about out of they actually got it was the China Civil Engineering Construction Corporation (CCECC) that had this partnership with the federal government, and about 220 of those wagons are going to be produced in Kajola plants. This is good news for Nigeria because one of the things I know that President Buhari wanted to leave is that he was able to help with the infrastructure, revive the manufacturing sector so people can produce things locally. It's going to take a long time for us to reap the benefits of some of these things, but at least he has set some of the foundations for others to build on. So it's a good thing for our nation.